there's so many kind of avenues or areas that you could focus on, and government is so broad. How do you define what are you going to do right now and which departments are you going to work with?
Yeah, look, it is big and it is complex, but I think in terms of what we do as a government, we have policy objectives that get laid down at a political layer, which really does set the direction in terms of what we do. The beauty of having such a broad remit is that everything that I kind of have and my teams have, they're all so intertwined. So if we think about the strategy, the strategy does map up to a policy objective to ensure that, for right now, one of our core policy objectives is about getting the vaccine in and getting people vaccinated. So that's a core aim that we've got to achieve. So the strategy has to align and support that, but really draw a red thread through to everything that we do down at an initiative layer or a product layer to make sure that it maps together. So strategy is informed by the architecture. The architecture, when we think about architecture in government, it's not about just technology. It actually is about thinking about people, process, technology, policy, legislation, and also our alliances we have within the broader market. How that then works, with the capability part that we bring in, how we bring those investments into it. So it's quite an organic beast that's always moving and shifting. But with our focus at the top on those objectives, it's pretty easy to kind of prioritize what we need to do and when we need to do it. It's just complex.
Great. Yeah, I like the link to policy. Is there ever any contention? Because I guess there's multiple ministers. They each have their portfolios. They each have their core aims that they'd like to achieve. Granted, I think the vaccine rollout trumps everything at the moment. But how do you, as a strategy officer, the chief strategy officer, how do you marry up those different policy needs from your stakeholders to align to the vision and the mission that you're going to move forward with?
Well, I think it really is about, again, rolling that right up to the biggest kind of policy objectives. So if I take another one, which is just around cementing the Australian economy as we come out of COVID, that's absolutely critical to what we need to do as a nation. Being able to show again that the initiatives that might be candidate initiatives that are coming through, looking at the impact that will drive and the outcome that it actually produces, sort of naturally triages where the focus goes in. I think, though, as you'd appreciate, as in any large organisation, and government, for all intents and purposes, is kind of almost like a conglomerate. There are always going to be competing priorities, but as we sort of progress down that digital transformation agenda, what we're seeing is there are more and more synergies between the kind of objectives and also the kind of tools that we're looking to use. They might be for different purposes, but we may actually be able to build once and use many, to use a kind of engineering analogy.
Great. And I just wanted to people, process, and technology. So on the people side of things, is there ever any pushback? So you're an external agency and you're coming into existing departments and existing teams and suggesting some changes. And I love the quote, everybody loves change, but they hate being changed. So how do you deal with that coming in externally to teams?
No, look, I think it's about, there's a lot of different things and different strategies that we kind of use that I think so much of it is about identifying the value for the individual. So making it really personal in terms of, what is the benefit that the change will actually bring? In terms of what we do for government, I think there's a galvanising focus that when you join the public sector, I mean, I've come from private sector and come in, the reason I've done that is I'm totally committed to wanting to build a better country and build a better digital experience for citizens. So I think there's a kind of, I was listening in very closely to the last speakers in the last segment. And again, I think that commonality of mission and the commonality of purpose, that when you've got that shared kind of drive to the objective that you're looking to produce, whilst change is not necessarily comfortable, understanding your individual kind of role and your contribution through that change and the outcome that brings, I think it makes it a lot easier for people to get on board. because then people are able to genuinely kind of personalise where they fit in the entire picture and what they bring to it.